a video on something that I just want to have a quick faff around with. So, sourdough bread. I was kind of thinking, I normally shape my sourdough and then put the underside up, so the top of the bread goes down into that, and then I can turn that out, so that's the bottom of the bread, that gets turned into the cast iron pot. But I was thinking, I lose a little bit of tension in the dough when I shape it, when I put it around that way. So I kind of thought, well, let's see if we can put the bottom of the bread down to the bottom of the proving basket, and that's risen quite a bit better, and I think that's down to the tension in the dough that we haven't lost. So I kind of thought we really should do that experiment and kind of see what happens. Which does it matter which way I've got the bread up in the when I bake it? I mean, obviously that's still going to be the top of the bread. I'm going to turn that out into my hand, we'll dust it with some flour, and then we'll put it into the proving basket. So that one, I've made 3 loaves. So I've already baked 1 loaf. So just as if by sheer magic, this is the way that I normally do it. So that's pretty good. That's turned out okay. Now I did find that using a better quality flour gets you a better split in the loaf. I'm assuming down to the gluten content of the flour, but it might also be down to a loss of tension in the bread. So I'll have to be careful how we do this, because I don't want to burn myself, because the cast iron pot is rather hot. So that onto there like that, that onto there like that, slice open like that. It's got a nice bit of tension in that bread, and then out of the way, spray with water on that side. We don't spray water on that side because the slice will kind of want to heal up with the moisture from the bread. So that into the oven for 25 minutes, and we'll see how it turns out. Just about 25 minutes. I always kind of think the second loaf takes slightly less time than the first because the oven's had a proper time to heat up. A bit like the first pancake. First pancake's always a bit rubbish, second pancake's always much better. So let's have a look at, let's put that, oh there we go. So let's put that back in the oven. That's, oh look at that, that's gone all puffy and flaky on the outside. Let's get the next one in. I suppose what I should do is, can we do, what if that makes it, let's do another experiment. Let's get flour on my hands. Let's turn this one out onto my hand, back onto my hand, and then in there like that. I probably slapping it down wasn't a good idea, but while we're experimenting, it's not going to do any harm, is it? Because I think this is to me, the bread's a learning experience. Oh, that's flattened right down as that one. I don't think this is going to be a good loaf, but we'll find out. So it's very difficult when baking bread, or when anything, to be honest, to get like a really good idea about how to do something, because it's such an individual thing. Just because my method of baking bread works for me doesn't mean that my method of baking bread would work for someone else. Different ovens, different sourdough starters, different types of flour, different techniques. I mean, I am trained, but I'm not a trained baker. So you tend to learn things and pick things up as you go, and then adopt the things that work for you. So you tend to watch not one person showing you how to make bread. You watch 5 or 6 or 10 and pick up different kind of things on the way. But that's certainly a better shape. It hasn't got that nice split open, but I'm sure that's down to the quality of the flour that I'm using. I only use a cheap flour from Lidl. So it's a bread flour, but it's a cheap one. Whereas we can use, well, cheap's the wrong word, isn't it? You can use better quality bread flours which have more gluten in them, which tend to be more expensive. And I've compared the gluten content of the cheap flours and the more expensive bread flours, and I kind of think that's generally probably a reason why they're cheaper. But that looks okay. We're back when what we call it when we get the oven out of the oven and see if that's made a difference as well. That back in the oven. A bit flatter, but that's because it landed with a thud in the pan, wasn't it? Because I was a little bit too quick with it. So, by the looks of things, not that much difference between that. That's got a better rise to it. We put them side by side. That's better. So that's difficult to get them. Do it that way. So we can see that depending on which way you put it up in the proving basket, gets a better result. So that's certainly risen more, and by having the actual top of the bread, the bottom of the bread into the proving basket, and the top of the bread to kind of keep that tension. So we've got a better rise on that. We don't think we need to cut into it. We can tell that that's got a better overall rise. Now, although I am going to add about sourdough, it's a tricky thing, and it's almost like it is alive. So, and things that tend to be alive aren't uniform in the way that they bake themselves. There's always going to be differences. It's not like a set formula. It tends to be a lot of skill when you're making sourdough. That's why mine are always a little bit, don't like the ones in the shop, but we strive to get better, don't we? So the question is, in future, can I be bothered to change the way that I'm putting them into the proving basket to get a slightly better loaf? If I was using a better quality bread flour, then I'd say yes. If I was wanting to impress someone with my bread making skills, yes. Do I want to impress someone with my bread making skills? No. I'm quite happy with the bread that I make and how delicious it tastes. But anyway, so from that point of view, a success.